we'd take that stuff and then we'd ask them like, hey, does this resonate with you guys? And sometimes we do Facebook testing on certain copy or like within our group, and we like, within our group as in our previous members, and say, hey, does this resonate with you guys? This is not. And so I was the person that would critique it afterwards and be like, yeah, this is way off, or this is like really bang on. Or basically, the question always like, does it move me, or do I not feel any energy or emotion around it? So, for
Okay, cool.
example, on your, I read through your materials that you had a thing there, get 100,000 people to change one habit in 30 days or something like that, right? And I was
Mhm.
thinking that if you change that to get 100,000 people to floss once a day for 30 days, that has more of an emotional impact than a habit, right? Just because even though other people would get it, it's like a habit changing thing. But flossing, so example, if you go to joesgoals.com, which is a habit
Mhm.
changing site, you'll see that the number one habit that people want to change is flossing. The second one is going to the gym. So something about flossing like really resonates with people. They get it because it's like something they're trying to do, but they haven't gotten to. So changing just that one word will really, I think, will really change um see, there you go. So
So
the
like,
exercise, stop eating out, and
well, yeah, they chose it looks like the number one is exercise, and number five is floss. But yeah, I get your point. It's choosing one that's like very clear, and
yeah, don't
flossing is
don't go with
different.
habit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Flossing is a little different. So like when
So
so
it could
I
be
would say
like
that would
100,000 people to go to the gym for the first time in 30 days. Something along those
something
lines.
like that. Just make it more relatable than a habit. It's just too habits too general. You want to
Yeah.
stand out. And so I was thinking of this with floss. Like if you had just videos of people just flossing, like it's just like nasty, and somehow it just stands out. So, and if you could get like a one word around going to the gym, then that would say that, like, do this many push-ups, or like, 100 to do like whatever it was, but just to make it short and just get that emotionality around your phrase. That'd be great.
Okay, that's a good idea. So consider. Okay. Uh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, we should definitely think through that. Okay, so I guess our first step here, or one of our first steps, is to start working on redesigning this website to have be split tested, to have a social. I mean, with all the stuff that I've written down here on the so working on redesigning the website is a priority. Another priority is what happens when they actually do enter their email address, since we still don't have a specific date on when we're going to be launching the campaign. What we do have is two things that are interesting. Number one, we have a pretty good behind the scenes email. I don't know if you've all seen that before. It's just kind of like a photo gallery, but it is fairly entertaining. Have you guys all seen the behind the scenes email?
Is it the video you sent, the YouTube videos?
No, it's not a YouTube video. It's
Yeah.
a picture gallery. I'll send it out right now to everybody. So
Yeah,
we have
I
a few
have.
things that we're thinking about doing. This is what I told Daniel that we should start off with. We have on day one, there's this like photo gallery behind the scenes. So it's kind of like when people currently sign up for Pavlok, almost all of them are signing up because they're interested in Pavlok and they read about it on Boston.com or on my website, and they know it's a hardware device that changes habits. So, and the current call to action is stay updated. So when we change it, it's different. But right now, updated, like the first email I was thinking about was sending them sort of like a storyline of what we're doing here. So here's like pretty pictures and apps and stuff. So kind of what it is. I'll send that out to everybody so you can peruse it. This is one thing we've done. A second thing that we've done is we built a thing called Hack the Habit. It's a Facebook group slash email series where we are testing out our behavior change algorithm. So our behavior change algorithm is like 7 days of this shock, followed by 3 weeks of positive reinforcement. We found that hooking you up with an accountability partner really makes you continue to do the habit much more than anything else. And so we have this group running. It's running right now once every 30 days. I'm considering shortening it to every 14 days. And what happens is you sign up, you choose your habit, and then then you get matched up with an accountability partner. For the first 7 days, you have a bet, and then for the rest of the time, you just have positive reinforcement, or you can make the bet if you want. But you have an accountability partner, and every day you reply and tell your accountability partner what you did, and he replies and tells you what you did. And we have very, very good results. Like people are really getting a lot out of it, and they're in a Facebook group. So one thing we can do is when they sign up on our Pavlok list is let them register for this Hack the Habit group, such that they can start working on their habits, learning about micro habits, and ideally be primed to purchase when it comes out. That's a second email, and then the third email I was mentioning to, and the third email I was mentioning to Daniel was to simply ask them, do you mind if we contact you? What are you interested in? Do you mind if we send you a few questions, survey, or even Skype call you to ask you what you would like to get out of Pavlok/Hack the Habit? So I want to start working on sort of building a 3 email sequence that as soon as somebody opts in, I wanted to get your feedback on both content and timing.
Yeah. So what I would do was it me that you wanted feedback from?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what I would do is I would in one of those emails I would put in a Google form link somehow and say, hey, we'd like your feedback on something. Could you put in your info here to this Google form? Um, and then another thing that we did, so we had a lot of success with the Google form. And then the other thing that we did was the founder, as in you, would write at the bottom say, I will personally reply to this email. And there's something about that that gets a really high response rate. Well, I mean, you can kind of tell why. It's just that whole get to talk to the main guy kind of thing. And then what you do is this is I talked about a little bit this before, but you have a systematized way of replying them. Um, and then you get a promise in the bottom. You say it's something that we use quite a bit is I open or I read every email that comes through or something. Just you want to just make it seem that they're not just sending it to a mailing list, but you're actually like responding to each email, or that you're actually reading and or like like basically they want to be heard, right? These people want to be heard. And then there was something I thought of as you were speaking. You've already done a little bit of the community engagement, like helping these people find each other, because the people who you're finding, they're looking for they're the kind of people that want these gadgets and they want to track their habits, and like as you know, it's going to be a big industry. There's a huge push in CES. Even there was a huge theme around metrics and measuring metrics and all that stuff. Um, so helping them find a community but not giving to them right away, just saying, hey, would you be interested in joining this community of these people? And then gauging interest from that, because those, again, that's how you separate and like segment your list. So one of the big things to focus on was segmenting your list, like who are the real people who are going to buy and who are the tire kickers. And one of the ways would be like, would you be interested in joining a group of people who are you just spin that a little bit. I'm not sure what you think that through a bit, but something along where you've done the work of forming the community and forming your tribe, and that's why they want to join it. Those people are like literally like I think they're like 4 times more likely to buy than all the rest of the people in your list.
Yeah, I'm feeling like so. I want to send you a little bit about Hack the Habit, actually, and to Jordan too. I don't know if you've seen it. I'll invite you both to the group. But what we've kind of built a small community that's really completely based around Pavlok. We're just literally testing out the algorithm, and it is. I mean, I think there's 250 people in the group now. It's fairly active, and so that could be the kind of community that we let people join and use that as also a hard sell. Um, does that sound like the sort of thing you mean for community engagement? Let me show you the link.
Yeah, but you don't want to give the community before you get them to buy, because part of the value is the draw is, oh, you're gonna let me into this community and I want to be part of this community, and this is part of it's like you get Pavlok and you get this community thing, and that is extremely valuable for them. So I'm not sure, like you already have this community and they already can talk to each other, but it's something that maybe for future people, you're like it's a carrot you're dangling out there, like it's just to be
Would
engaged
you
with the
do that in
list
this
or.
case since we have this thing going right now and the product won't be even for sale for like 4 to 5 months? Would you still do
So
it that way?
I'll tell you why. because it's very similar to the foundation in that we had to keep people's interest for like 4 or 5 months before they bought, right? So it's a very, very similar situation. And the the what do you call it? The draw of being allowed into the community was like a big thing. So this is another thing you can play with actually. It's not that you get a chance to buy, it's like you're invited to buy because you're in this exclusive club of people that get to try this out, rather than being like, please buy. It's gonna be like, we're only inviting a select group of people, and if you want to be in this list, then you gotta pass all these tests, or you gotta, do all these like challenges, um, which for some reason just worked like gangbusters. Like we had was a questionnaire, and it just drove people insane. Like they were just trying as like crazy to get into the program, um, just because we made it exclusive. Like we're like, no, you can't get in, and they're like, no, we want to be in, and we're like, no, we're not sure about this. And so we played like there was an application process, like so that just the application process really really gets you highly engaged customers. So that's the biggest value add I would say that I would change is make it an application process to buy a Pavlok rather than say please buy Pavlok, because it'll do all this good stuff for you. Hello, did I lose you?
I'm here.
I think he's probably put it on
I'm here.
mute.
Sorry, guys. Jordan or Daniel, do you have anything to add to that?
I love, the idea of
Yeah, I
anytime you can
mean,
make things more scarce and more elusive, it's always a really more powerful draw. So that's really powerful in terms of the tips and how to make it more something that people want to join rather than they have to join.
Yep. Yeah, the scarcity thing is just like literally made people go almost insane. Like people were sending us stuff to Dane's address. People were like stalking us. Like it was just insane.
how
And I
do
think the
we
cool thing
integrate?
with this, well, with the shock, it's like, I mean, with this product, it is, people want it. Everybody wants to wear the prototype. I get hundreds of those emails. So it is something that people really want and really want to try. Um, getting out, like, getting the fact, I mean, the problem here is, of course, Foundation is a $2,500 course and Pavlok is a $100 product. But, we have the ability to sort of have prototypes, and we could potentially use that as I wonder if we can use that if we're allowed to sell prototypes as like an opt-in. I'm just thinking through this. Like, it would be interesting if people were like trying to get a prototype and we only had like 100 and they had to do an application process and it cost $9.99 to get a prototype or something like that. I'm just gonna write that down.
Hey,
So
Manish,
yeah,
when we talked about giving out prototypes for the launch, remember having it be really scarce and having them fill out an application was part of what we wanted to do, because remember we want them to like take a bunch of video of them using it.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be really relying on, user generated content during the launch of people actually using it. So that's going to be important, I think, to have them apply to get a prototype and commit to those things ahead of time. And one thing I wanted to share too for Dion is this whole idea of one of our biggest missions for the launch is to make sure that we are not positioning Pavlok as a novelty item or a novelty tool, because it shocks people. We're really trying to position it more as, hey, this is a legit behavior change asset that you can use in your life. So I just want to throw that out there too.
yeah,
Absolutely.
but then any hardware product or any product, it goes through its life cycle, right? So what you're going to try to get is the early adopters, and the early adopters want to feel special. So it has to be, to get the early adopters, you have to kind of spin it as a novelty, and then as it gets adopted by the early adopters, they're the sneezers who will get it to the masses. So it's still in line with your objectives. It's just the way to approach it is to you want the early adopters to buy this, and I mean basically they're the guys who are going to buy it, and they're the guys who are going to spread your idea. So that's why the exclusivity works still.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into this like idea of framing the early prototypes as like a small community, sort of in the way that like Ramit has this $12,000 dream job course, which is really exclusive. So you get like, it's not just the device, but you get access to a special community plus, personal coaching plus whatever it takes to get you to achieve your goals and making that a big process for like beginning users because they'll be way more likely to actually follow through on the product and give us really good feedback and take video rather than just making it a simple product. I'm gonna look into it next week. It's a good idea. Okay. So, all right. So let me make sure that we're on track here. So first of all, the number one thing, so the number one and the number two things I think that we need to solve are improving the landing page and then improving the funnel sequence once they're on the landing page. I don't think that we are exactly ready yet to define what the funnel sequence will be for people currently who are joining this Pavlok group because still Dion and Jordan, everyone should know it's still not a very, while there's some public information out about it, it's not, we're still quite in stealth mode. So it's almost time to start like releasing and doing a viral press campaign, but I also don't want to start doing it too early before the actual Kickstarter campaign. So I want to improve this landing page and I want to onboard people into the group. And I'm just trying, I want to get like kind of a specific deliverable that we can do for what happens when people actually opt in.
So
I
there's
don't
this
know.
one.
Yeah,
Can you interrupt for a sec, Manish?
go for it.
So there was one thing around your launch date. So generally, if you're doing the launch cycle thing, there are a few months that are highly, they're just convert on a much higher level. October is generally like a really high converting month, and if not October, then January. I mean, different people have different depending on the products, but this is what our experience was. August is generally a low converting month because people are off on vacation generally. So. And December again, people are off on vacation and they're on Christmas break, whatever. Um, it's not a good time to launch a product. What do you actually? I want to hear from Jordan. What are your good months for you in launching a product?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Obviously, January and I've had September and October be really successful.
Yep.
Right around those time frames. I think it's going to be a challenge for us to hit those. Obviously, we missed January, and it'd be really far to go to next January. Conversely, I would say the worst months, the lowest traffic months for me have always been June and July, and then also December. But August is typically better for me than June and July.
Oh, really?
So we talked about, for the most part, trying to get anything done that we were going to do before June or after July. But I'm with you on October, September frame, and then January. Definitely the best for sure.
Yeah, so that'll make a massive difference. Like something as small as when you launch is going to make a massive difference to how successful your campaign is.
Yeah, this is the part that's really bothering me is that so we don't really want to go ahead with organizing the manufacturing line before we do the launch because of a lot of reasons. Crazy expenses it costs to build a manufacturing line is one of them, and also just the amount of customer orders we're going to have changes the way that we do manufacturing. And it's like if we design the campaign that we have to do the campaign before we start manufacturing, there's a 7-month before they order until they receive their product. So that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of worried about that decision. I want to get this product out to people in January. And that means we have to do the campaign before August. And I'm at the point where it's like, even wearable technology, everyone knows. I'm very worried because there's a new wearable out every week. I'm sure you've noticed. And no one is targeting behavior change, but I was at South by and everyone's talking about behavior change. So there's got to be somebody else working on it. That said, I mean, I probably have a better network than most people and a better launchability than most people do who are building wearables, but I'm also a little bit worried that, Fitbit or Jawbone or something will come out with something that eats away a lot of my customer base if I wait too long. Does anybody have any thoughts about that?
So I would talk to early adopters and then ask them, so like, because you'd be surprised how long people will wait if they're the first. Like, there's this huge community of people, and again, these are the early adopters, that they're just as long as they're first, as long as they're the first one to wear it, they will wait quite a while. So I would talk to someone like this, someone who buys the latest stuff and say, hey, would you wait 7 months, for something like this if you were the first? So it may not be as big an issue as you're thinking about. Um,
Hmm.
and but so that would be a little bit of my feedback on that.
And I do know, Jordan, today I have a meeting with the team to see if we're allowed to do the pre-order, like the secret Kickstarter launch. Um, we may be working with, okay, so we're trying to make a decision between if we're going to launch on Kickstarter.com or if we're going to launch on Pavlok.com. And if we launch on Pavlok.com, we are going to be using another company that lets us sort of embed, our crowdfunding code on our own site. One of the benefits is that they're a partner of ours, and they may let us do this thing that Jordan recommended. What Jordan recommended was do a secret pre-launch, like in May, to like my list and to early adopters, and where we basically tell people, hey, this is a pre-launch. It's not open. It's only for people on the list. We see kind of what works and what's not working, and then we're potentially we'll be able to use that number. So let's imagine we sell $20,000 of product. We get to start off our actual campaign with the thermometer at $20,000. That is one solution I'm considering if the company will let me do that. Does that make sense? What I just said? Where we pre-sell and then we actually launch our real Kickstarter campaign in September or October. We start off with that May pre-sale as like our baseline, so we've already hit 20 or 40% of the goal.
In line with that, I would say get your JV partners lined up. There must be people with lists who are very targeted for these particular kind of things, and so you want to work on your JVs way early because you don't know who's going to say yes and who's going to say no. And
how early is way early?
We worked on JVs, let's see, about 6 months prior to launch. And we hired a person and we just had them like go through it. Like we made a list of, I don't know, 140 people that we wanted a JV with, and we got maybe 20. Um, and one of the JVs was Manish. So
Yeah.
yeah, so and he actually was one of our top sellers. So he didn't expect that, but a lot of people converted
that
to
hurts.
list.
Do you happen to
Yeah.
do you happen to know, like, are you able to share any of the potential JVs or the people you think might work? Do you have a list of people that
No,
you think are potential
no, I
JVs?
can't. Yeah, that'd be confidential. So yeah, I couldn't share that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, all right, let's see. So okay, so I don't know if there's any, let me check the agenda, where we are with this. I'm looking at the last stage of the agenda, so just to discuss about your launch cadence. I like this, the style of the Fibonacci sequence of launch emails, day 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. I think that makes sense for the actual opt-in campaign and for JV campaigns. I don't know if it makes sense yet for our opt-in campaign. I'm still not. We haven't solidified the answer of what our email opt-in funnel will be right now. Like if somebody goes to Pavlok.com and signs up, I would love to figure out what emails they should be getting in the first week or two. Dion, what would you do right now? Like, given this opt-in page, imagine that we don't change any of the website, but it's just like the habit forming device, stay updated. We're still getting 20 emails a day. What would you do right now for a funnel campaign?
So we found that the content didn't matter that much. It was as long as it was short and easily readable. It was the relative frequency depending on the engagement. That was more important. So if they were more engaged, they were clicking through more, then we'd send them. They were getting more emails, and if they weren't clicking, they weren't getting as many. They were getting like once a month emails. So it was very like a dynamic thing depending on the response rate. And then
Okay.
I wrote you a long email about this about how to highly engage them. And the short version of that long email I wrote was basically we hired someone to they'd had a templated email based on a bunch of responses, and they would just copy and paste. We used a shortcut code. What do you call those things? Like a text expander, which we just put in like 2 words and it puts in this whole email, and then we change a few things to customize it so it felt like we read their whole email, and then that way we'd get replies back, and then we'd send them a challenge of some sort. We'd be like, so I'm not sure how you would do this with them. Maybe you'd say, well, you could actually, because it's a habit changing thing. You'd say, hey, even before you get this product, how about you try this? Like, try this challenge. Just do 2 push-ups a day, or whatever the case is, right? And then something, and then say, hey, report back to me when you tell me your results. And that that massively drove engagement, because they're like, holy crap, you're like responding to me, and you care about me, and you are concerned about my results, and it just like massively drew up like increased engagement.
Okay, so you're thinking
Like, when I
about
say
like.
massive, I'd say like. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You can say massive. You were saying. Can you say?
I was saying like it was a 20% increase in our response
Okay.
rate.
So making our emails not about updating them, but more about asking them to do an action. Something as simple as, it's a habit-forming device. Habits are about micro-habits. It's not about going into the gym and working. It's not about working out for an hour. It's about entering the gym and swiping your card. So right now, I want you to do one thing. Can you just do 1 push-up on the floor for me? Reply back to me when you've done it.
So
something like that.
Yeah, the underlying thing is, do you care about me? Right? Do you love me? That's what the are you like, what makes you different from everyone else that I'm applying to? Like, do you actually care about me making a change in my life? And if you can get them to feel that they are loved by you and that you really care about them, that's how you drive engagement. And the way to do that is to really love them. Like, really like love them and care about them, and say like, what would make a difference in this person's life?
Absolutely. Okay, cool. All right, so I think I can work with Daniel on something to build the content of those emails. Okay, so what you're saying is, don't worry too much about the actual content of the emails.
Yeah, it's not that important, honestly. It's like you see for yourself. Like, do you actually read every email you get? No, you just get a gist of it. And if one word catches your eye or something, you're like, oh, okay, I might read more of this, right? So that's why there's the shortness of it works for the initial emails, and then you can actually increase the size of the email after they're more engaged, because they're reading it. Now, like long copy emails to a first time subscriber just generally have low conversion. At least for us, have low conversion rates.
All right. That makes sense.
I would echo that and say that when we've done big launches, the number one goal of the launch is to have them do one thing during the launch, whether it's, put a blog comment in that they're going to commit to flossing their tooth tomorrow morning, right? So if they just take one action during your launch, then you've got them.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the micro goal week to week.
It's that that Cialdini principle. I know you all read the book Influence. Yeah, open the foot in the door. That's it. Yeah.
Door, yeah. All right, cool. All right, well, that answers most of the stuff on our agenda. I just wanted to make sure that, does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to have anything that they want to ask? Anything I'm missing?
I just want to say thanks. It's been really insightful, and I look forward to hopefully having another conversation in the future when we have things mapped out.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you, Dion.
Sweet, thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate me.
Look at that. Everyone's caring, just like Pavlov.
That's a hug.
So I guess my next steps now, I'm going to focus on improving our website and working with Daniel on getting our first email sequence out. I know that we are moving towards it. We actually started building our GameStop campaign yesterday. So hopefully by the next time that we talk, I will have a better email sequence mapped out, and I'll have the beginnings of our new website. Cool. All right, well, it's great to talk to you guys. I'm going to catch up with each of you individually. Dion, are you about to pass out?
Yes, it's like, it's 12:30 in the morning. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll send you an email, or I'll schedule time just to do a quick chat today. Jordan will talk to you in a week or two as we get more content ready. And Daniel, I'll see you next week.
Cool.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Later.
Take care.